DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Well, I hope you're well. It is Sunday afternoon. It's quite nice, actually. It started off really cloudy today, and now it's not looking too bad at all. So it is. What time is it? It is. Oh, coming up to 2. 5 minutes to 2. 5 minutes for 2 in the afternoon. Yeah. Well, I hope you're all well. I mean, it's been a busy morning. I was the cameraman at church, and kept me busy. It kept me busy because we had well, sometimes when people move or there's different things, so you got to follow them. Well, it was one of those days. Anyway, there was a lot of camera movement. It's not like when someone is just standing there. So yeah, and the thing is that you always hope that they're going to use the right microphones and stuff like that. Anyway, it's different to when you're vlogging. You know, you're pretty much in control, and if we're actually vlogging, we're not doing much. I was thinking about that the other day. Is that in the old days when we used to do like skits and stuff like that, there was a lot of editing sometimes, but now we just get in front of the camera, whichever it is. In this case, it's the iPhone or whatever. We just chat. That's it. And it's like you got it as it is, and if possible, no editing, so that we can, just kind of like just upload it. We've become lazy. Actually, I guess that's the thing. Become lazy. When I do the church one, I mean, I have to do editing, but it's really basic editing. Clipping here, clipping there, adding a picture, picture in picture, a few things like that. But extremely basic editing. But it's funny because not many people have the software and know how to do it. And so it's like, oh wow, you can do that. And I keep thinking like, wow, most YouTubers could. Yeah. I was with Mrs. DC yesterday evening. We were watching Strictly Come Dancing. That's Dancing with the Stars, except it's the British. Well, actually, the British made it, so it's the. I was going to say the flagship, so to say. Dancing with the Stars came after, but it's the British or the UK equivalent. And where I found it amusing was because one of the persons who's dancing, he's a he's a star because he's a content creator. In other words, he does TikTok and YouTube videos. So any of us we could be asked to do that. Maybe we're not popular enough. That might be the other reason. It could very well be that I'm not popular enough. Not that I really would want to do that. But anyway, having said that, it was amusing because they have these little skits, and they have somebody usually comes and visits them. And this time they had two other YouTubers or content creators that were really well-known people. And I realized I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the guy before. I didn't know him, the people that were there. And they're like, oh, this guy's got over 1 million followers. And I was thinking like, okay, I have no idea who this is. That's just kind of the way it is, I guess. But it was amusing for me that now, in today's world, I've probably talked about this before, but where so many people now go to social media to get their news, to get what's going on in the world, be it entertainment news or political news or whatever type of news. People are more and more going to. There's some noise over there. People are more and more going to social media. So that, in that respect, a social media star is all of a sudden a person that people know they're talking about, even if I didn't know, and warrants them, to be considered as a celebrity on these shows. I mean, that's really different. I guess it's the world we live in now, isn't it? Yeah. The other day I was having a chat at church with somebody, and it was amusing because we were talking about editing photography, and this is a guy who's he's he's a chef. Yeah, he works in restaurants, and he's looking for a new position. And he was using chat. We were talking about that. Also, he was telling me I've been using Chat GPT to help me make my resume and to write things up. And I thought, like, wow, the world has changed, hasn't it? You know, I mean, many years ago, you would not have this type of thing. And today, you know, that is like the next revolution in a way, isn't it? The whole artificial, and I like to use the word artificial intelligence thing, because sometimes the intelligence that comes out of it is really artificial. Yeah. Oh, yeah. World is changing. That's that's the revolution that we're just seeing now, and it's coming. There's been a whole thing about that over here in Switzerland where they've been discussing about, well, for years, you know, about saving energy and stuff like that. And now, all of a sudden, with all this artificial intelligence stuff that's coming, it's the tech world and the real world is realizing how much extra energy is going to be needed that 5 years ago nobody was thinking that we would need that much. So all of a sudden, all this push for the renewable stuff, be it sun, wind, or whatever, you know, all the renewable energies are probably once again not going to be sufficient. And there's definitely more and more of a talk that as far as the so-called carbon footprint is going, nuclear is ending up being the best. So we have all the socialist and green parties over here, which are, well, there's politer ways, I guess. I'll stay polite. You know, they're all actually getting nervous. Well, let's stay really polite. Getting nervous because everything that's on their agendas is kind of falling apart because people want, despite all the pitfalls, there was pitfalls when the internet came, and now there's pitfalls when AI is coming, but more and more people see that you can use it. I'm using it actually quite regularly. And so if you want to use it, you're going to have to pay for it. And if you pay for it, it's going to be like energy or something like that. And how do you get that energy? We don't have enough. So all of a sudden, nuclear is back in the chats. Yeah. But there's second, third, or fourth generation nuclear power stations, which have nothing to do with the big giant ones that we used to know. But anyway, that is something. But because of that, there's going to be, well, there will be actually contentions between countries. Take, for example, here in Switzerland, we have the Rhone River, Rhone, which starts from Switzerland and goes through France and ends up in the Mediterranean, around there. And a lot of France's nuclear power stations are along there, and they need a lot of water, and they need a lot of water, which in a way Switzerland is using in its lakes and actually as drinking water. And the Swiss have, well, Lake Geneva, which basically is the Rhone River, because it starts at one end, goes out the other end, and becomes, it's called the Rhone before, and it's called the Rhone after Lake Geneva. But Lake Geneva is an important lake in Switzerland. And there's basically regulators, or what, or dams and so on, which are more or less saying how much water goes in, how much water goes out. But the water that goes out is what's going towards France, basically. So you can already see they're already there. Conflict, let's say, for the moment, still polite but sharp discussions on who should have the water and who's going to use it. Yeah, How did I get to that? I don't know. I guess that's the whole thing about vlogging, isn't it? Anyway, I haven't actually kept an account of how much I've been chatting or how long I've been chatting, but maybe I'll stop there. Anyway, it was, like I say, it was a good Sunday, good weekend up to now. Had the grandkids over yesterday, and the grandkids and my kids, they all came over. It was nice being together. It's always nice being together. I mean, meals and laughs and a few drinks, and it's really part of the nice things in life. So let's close off with a positive note. Okay, LBDC signing off. Take care, everybody, and have a great Sunday, and hope the week that's coming will be good for all of you.